Let's talk some trading 101 and when you should not buy a stock. I see this all the time. I'm always on guard. And really, I'm not quite sure this is a 101 topic, and maybe it's a little bit more advanced, but it is something that is basic to the success of really any long-term trading or investing strategy. So I suppose that's probably why I'm throwing it in the 101 category here, because it's such a foundational piece. And it's something that's easy to get overlooked. And I mean, so much so that it never really dawned on me per se to even talk about it until I got a comment. And then reading the comment, I was like, wait a second. I see what that person's at risk of doing. And it also brings about a point where there's a clear flag, or it's not clear, but it's a warning sign that's like, hey, don't buy, yet it's kind of hiding in plain sight. So let me read this comment first to set up the context here. And this comes on a YouTube video, or one of them I did, about indicators. So Greg says, would you say to use these indicators more or less if you're on the fence about buying a stock? So let me just walk through a couple things here about the purpose of, when you have a strategy, when you have a system, whatever you want to call it, this part of the strategy. So you have these bullet points, and then you have this and this part of the strategy. And this, we'll just call them your rules, right? You have rules of a strategy. You have criteria of a strategy. And hopefully I'm saying the obvious, but that's what actually a rules-based system, a rules-based strategy is. You need to have certain criteria. You need to see certain things happen, and you need to have a bunch of things that are going to actually meet, quote unquote, the criteria for that strategy. And the reason why that is good, the reason why that is powerful, is it can actually put you into this situation where Greg was at, which we'll call the on the fence. Meaning you're looking at a stock, you're looking at a cryptocurrency, you're looking at a future, futures contract, you're looking at anything, and you're like, I'm on the fence. What is that telling you? It doesn't meet your rules. It doesn't meet your criteria, because if it did, you would not be on the fence. You'd be like, hey, let's go. Boom, 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 boom. Take action. But if you're kind of tiptoeing, you're on the fence about it, you're unsure, well then you should not be buying a stock. You should not be shorting a stock. You should not be doing anything at all. That is your cue to see you later. See you later. Nope, this stock, I'll just use that, is not meeting my strategy. Because how is it not meeting my strategy? Well, it's not fitting the criteria. It'll cause me to break rules that I have. So if I'm on the fence, I need to just move on. So and I get it. Okay, well, no kidding, Clay. If you're not sure, you shouldn't buy a stock. But that's not what most people do. That's not what I do sometimes. What is this person looking to do? Their solution is, well, if you're on the fence, then they're asking about what? Maybe other indicators, right? Would you use these other indicators in those situations where you are unsure? But what is that actually doing? What is this part of the sequence actually doing? That's what we would call forcing. You are on the edge of forcing a trade. You're on the edge of doing something that you shouldn't be doing. Why shouldn't you be doing it? Well, because you're on the fence about it. And why would you be on the fence about it? Well, because it doesn't actually meet the rules and criteria of your original strategy. But now all of a sudden you're out there kind of, I don't know. Let me see if there's anything else out there that can get me off the fence. Let me see if there's anything out there that can just clear things. You don't need anything cleared up. You already have clarity. You know you're on the fence. No more clarity needed. Now, if you don't actually have faith, if you don't actually have a true rules-based system and a true, strategy, well, then that's a much different discussion. But assuming you do have a strategy, assuming you do have proper rules and proper structure with criteria, well, then you don't need any more clarity. You already got your clarity in the step of where you're saying, I'm on the fence, I'm unsure. But it can be very tempting to go and keep digging and try to basically force a round peg through a square hole. And that's what Greg's kind of alluding to here. And to Greg, if you're watching this, hey man, if you can identify being on the fence about something, great, just move on from it. You don't need any other indicators. You don't need anything to try to clear things up because you already have that clarity. So be very careful of that, because a big problem out there. Forcing trades. I mean, have you ever done that before? Have you ever been there? Where you take a trade and you're like, I kind of forced that one. That one is actually not, and why did I even get into that? Well, because and then you list off something, they're like, but since when do I do that? Like I said, I'm always battling against that because as traders, well, we want to trade. So the tendency is, well, let's try to look for anything that will help us and that will, kind of encourage us to make the trade, even if we know it's not quite there. Even if we're admitting that we're on the fence, yet we're still potentially being, drawn into doing something that we should not be doing. So just keep that in mind. If you're on the fence about something, that's when do not buy the stock. You should not be buying in that situation. You should not be taking any action, and you should not be then looking for other indicators or anything like that. You should be trusting your strategy. So that is definitely when you don't want to be buying a stock anytime you're on the fence, because you know what? There's like thousands of other stocks out there. There's thousands of other financial assets out there that you can go and find something where you're not on the fence, where you do have full confidence in it. So just go find yourself one of those situations. Don't put yourself in a scenario where you're trying to fit a square peg through a round hole, because in most situations, it's just going to lead to headache. It's going to lead to confusion. It's going to lead to inconsistency. All the things that we don't want to have as traders. So hopefully this helped, and hopefully if you can relate to this, it's kind of one of those light bulb moments where you're like, oh yeah, I've been kind of wasting my time trying to get myself off the fence when I should just totally move on to a totally another trade. So like I said, if you have any other suggestions or questions, regarding this, leave those down in the comment section below. Like I said, this whole entire video was inspired by a comment. So, I mean, that's why I do read all comments. I will reply to all comments because they're good for ideas to kind of throw these sorts of videos together. So hopefully you find it helpful. And then also check out the channel as a whole. There's a good variety of videos, and hopefully you like what you see enough to hit that subscribe button. But if you like this video, please let me know in the comment section. Please hit that like button. I really appreciate it. Thanks for watching. First off, thanks so much for watching the entire video. Real quick, before you go, I want to invite you to a live webinar, web class, training, workshop, online event, whatever you want to call it, but it will be me live revealing to you what I've discovered that has allowed me to transform myself from being an employee to being my own boss, including how I had only one losing day out of 73 days in total. I'm going to cover 3 keys that have helped me unlock profitable consistency within the markets. The first key is super weird, but in a productive type of way. The second key is super awesome because it quite literally is wired into our DNA as humans, making it very easy to use. But in a cruel way, this becomes a pitfall for many traders. I'll explain it all though, including how to avoid the pitfall that it creates for some. And yeah, the third key, when you hear it, sounds way too good to be true, but it's not, and I'll show you how it all works. Then at the end, I open it up for a question and answer session that is, again, totally live. Even if you can't make the live session, please still sign up as it will be recorded, and you can go back and watch the replay that I will send you. Click the image on the screen or click the link down in the description box so you can get the date and time and claim your spot, which I should note is limited due to the fact that this truly is a live event. If you have any questions, let me know. If not, I'll be seeing you soon.